There are three ways we can report our confidence interval estimate of a population mean. One way is to show the sample mean minus the margin of error, and these are individual values here. So what we're communicating is not only what these limits are, but broken down by part. So we show the sample mean minus the margin of error and the sample mean plus the margin of error. Another way would be to show the sample mean and say that plus or minus the margin of error. So of course the plus gives us the upper confidence limit and the minus gives us the lower confidence limit. And then finally, in an interval notation where we show the lower confidence limit is the first value, the low limit, comma, so our interval goes from here to this value. Okay, so let's look at how we might calculate x bar, the sample standard deviation, and e, the margin of error, if we're given the confidence interval. So given the confidence interval, how would we find the sample mean and the margin of error? Well, the sample mean, x bar, would be found by taking the upper confidence limit and adding that to the lower confidence limit and dividing that by 2, because recall that x bar is right in the middle of the two. We say x bar plus and x bar minus, right? So if we take the average of these two numbers, we get the middle, and that's where x bar is. Now, the margin of error, well, think about it. We do plus e and minus e, so if we take the difference between the upper confidence limit and the lower confidence limit, we get the entire length. But that's two e's. That's plus an e and minus an e, so we would divide by 2 to get one of those. So let me just maybe show that a little bit better here. Remember our confidence level, our confidence interval, here has, we take x bar and we do plus e, here's e, to get our upper confidence limit, and we do minus e to get our lower confidence limit. So clearly if we add these two together and divide by 2, we get the number in the middle. And if we take the difference that gives us the entire length of this interval and divide by 2, we get one of these. Okay, let's look at an example. For the given interval, we're given this interval, find the sample mean and the margin of error. Then write the confidence interval using all three ways we noted above. Alright, so our x bar, we said, is going to be the average of these two numbers. It's right in the middle. So we take the upper confidence limit, add to it the lower confidence limit, and divide by 2, which gives us 7.8 divided by 2, or 3.9. And our units here are centimeters. Our margin of error then is the difference between the upper confidence limit and the lower confidence limit divided by 2. And here we get 3.6 divided by 2, or 1.8 centimeters. So we would say that in our confidence interval, we would talk about that as being plus or minus 1.8 centimeters. Remember, this is our margin of error, and when we have a confidence interval for the mean, the margin of error has the same units as the data, same units as the sample mean. Okay, now that we have those two, we can state this in the three ways we noted above. So the first way was the x bar minus e and x bar plus e. So we know that would be 3.9 minus 1.8. and 3.9 plus 1.8. So showing it that way, see, we have the limits there as well as the detailed information. Okay, the second way was that x bar plus or minus e. Okay, so that's simple. 3.9 plus or minus 1.8. So we say that our estimate is 3.9 plus or minus this margin of error of 1.8. And finally, the last way was that interval notation, where we say x bar minus e is the lower level in our interval, the low number, and x bar plus e is the high number in our interval. So 3.9 minus 1.8, comma, 3.9 plus 1.8. Three ways to indicate this. And now we know how to determine what the actual mean, sample mean, and margin of error were used when this confidence interval was constructed.